while it can sometimes be lost among all the vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciations that English language learners, ELLs, must learn. The development of listening skills are an essential aspect of learning English. Active listening involves paying attention to a speaker to comprehend meaning and make appropriate responses. ELLs rely heavily on listening, even if they're not aware of its importance. One of the best things you can do to help your students listen more effectively is to create an environment that helps them concentrate. To accomplish this, try to eliminate distractions when you or a student is speaking. Establish a few listening rules that students should follow in the classroom. Rules could include no talking when the teacher is talking. When a classmate is speaking to everyone, look at the speaker and listen. Be prepared to summarize or repeat what others have said. If possible, post these rules somewhere in the classroom so that they're visible to all students. You can also ask students to create their own class rules to be voted on and adopted if a majority of the class agrees to them. The primary difference between academic and social listening is that the listener has different intentions and obligations depending on the situation. Academic listening involves students hearing information that needs to be analyzed and recalled for assessment purposes. Because academic listening requires a focus on details and retention, it's important to help students establish a relationship between listening and note-taking. Sometimes it can be difficult for ELLs to do both at the same time. You can help students by providing them with note-taking templates and encouraging them to come up with personalized note-taking shorthand so they can focus both on what's being said and what they're writing down. Social listening involves recognizing and responding to social cues, both verbal and nonverbal. Examples of nonverbal communication include eye contact, gestures, and vocal tone. In many social situations, students listen to another person to develop an appropriate response. Responses may include asking questions to encourage someone to say more in conversation, or paraphrasing what someone has said to ensure understanding. This is unlike an academic situation, such as a lecture, when the student is expected to listen only and not respond. ELLs must practice listening regularly in order to improve. There are several things you can do to help students practice listening effectively in both academic and social settings. These suggestions can be adapted and adjusted depending on the abilities of your learners. Begin a lesson by asking volunteers to tell you about something they had heard outside of school. Have students verbally summarize or recap info you have just given to them. Ask students to write down details or the key points of a conversation, both during and after the conversation. Give students worksheets with missing information. Read the missing information aloud and have them fill in the blanks. For instance, Jane blank lives at blank Main Street in blank. Her phone number is blank and she works part-time at blank. Ask a student to repeat what another student has just said. Have pairs of students role-play a conversation with a designated listener practicing positive nonverbal communication. After discussion, have the partners switch roles. You can use a combination of these techniques, no matter the main topic of the lesson you're giving. Repeated use of these exercises will help students strengthen their listening skills over time, which will be a massive benefit both in and out of the classroom. Academic listening involves students hearing information that needs to be analyzed and recalled for assessment purposes. Social listening involves recognizing and responding to social cues, both verbal and nonverbal. If you treat listening as an indispensable part of learning English, ELLs will be more likely to embrace it and regard listening skills as essential to success in both academic and social settings. By providing students with clear guidelines for respectful listening and providing a variety of active listening activities, you'll be giving your students a solid basis on which to better engage with others socially and academically.